All right, I think it's time that we talk about some stuff. It's time for Republicans, Independents, and Democrats to come together. I know that sounds impossible, and I know we're more divided than we've ever been. And I know the anger is real. But here's also what I know. We don't have the luxury of staying divided anymore. I'm tired, and, I'm tired of talking about how we got here. Tired of the blame game. Tired of finger pointing and endless debates. And you know what? It doesn't matter whose fault it is. We can spend the next decade rehashing about how we got here, whose fault it is, the who's who, the what's what. But I would rather just talk about the future and move forward. And, choosing to move forward, now, I know what some of you might be thinking. How can I work with people who believe the opposite of me? How can I compromise on my issues that I believe at my core? And listen, I get it. I really do. Maybe you believe deeply in a woman's right to choose. Maybe you believe just as deeply in protecting the unborn. Maybe you're passionate about gun rights. Maybe you're equally passionate about gun safety. Maybe you believe in strong borders. Maybe you believe in compassionate immigration reform. Here's the truth. It doesn't matter what your normal personal beliefs are right now. I'm not asking you to abandon your values. I'm not asking you to give up fighting for what you believe in. What I'm asking for is for you to recognize that right now we are in this moment that we have to sit some things aside and we have to find a place where we can agree. We have to acknowledge that the person across from us who votes differently, believes differently, lives differently. It's that we want a lot of the same things. And they want their kids to have a future. They want to feel safe. They want economic opportunity. They want to live in a country that works. So let's start talking. Let's start talking about the future, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. Let's talk about good jobs. Let's talk about a paying living wage. Let's talk about schools that actually educate our children. Let's talk about infrastructure that doesn't crumble beneath us. Let's talk about healthcare that doesn't bankrupt families. Let's talk about communities where people feel safe and connected. Let's talk about an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top. Let's talk about restoring trust in our institutions. Let's talk about bridging the gap between rural and urban America. Let's talk about giving young people a reason to believe their lives will be better than their parents. These aren't Republican issues. These aren't Democrat issues. These are American issues. These are human issues. And we're not going to be able to solve them by retreating to our corners and shouting at each other. We're not going to be able to solve them by demanding, that we have to win everything. We have to come together. We have to figure this out. I know this won't be easy, but compromise feels like you're losing, and I believe you're absolutely right. Listening to someone that you don't agree with is uncomfortable. Admitting that maybe, just maybe, the other side has a point on something that takes courage. But here's what I believe. We're capable of that courage. I believe that we're better than our worst moments. I believe that we're stronger than our divisions. I believe that we can put aside our egos and our trivial loyalties and need to be right, and we can expect extraordinary things. Our grandparents' generation did that. They faced the Depression, war, and uncertainty, and they came together. They disagreed on plenty, but they agreed on enough to build the most prosperous nation in human history. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how we got here. It doesn't matter what's going on. What matters is what we're going to do about it. And we can keep fighting about the past, or we can start building toward the future. We can stay divided, or we can work to find common ground. And we can give up on each other, or we can remember that we're all in this together. It is time to put one foot forward in front of the other, and it is time to start moving forward. So it is time to start talking about where we're going and how we're going to get there together today. Thank you.